running full speed, but the markets are faster. Quasar Markets Live brings the world's top financial minds to you. Everything you need to know in one place. Learn from elite educators and gain a competitive edge, leveling the playing field for you. Join the conversation. Quasar Markets Live.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live, and good morning, my man, BigBeat. How are we doing today, Steve?
Good, man. You know, look, those PPI numbers came in and unemployment numbers came in, and Powell was speaking this morning. Like, come on, bro. Oh, you're still
this morning, so I didn't know that one was coming.
Yeah, and some of the news this morning coming fast and furious, especially yesterday too, as well. Walmart CFO was in a meeting, and they asked him about tariffs. And while we've seen Microsoft raise Xbox prices like $200 like per box, right? You've really kind of seen retailers trying to take it in stride in the chin because they're not really sure yet about the tariffs, and because there's uncertainty, no clarity, blah, 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 all things we've been talking about. Microsoft did raise their prices. Walmart CFO says, we haven't done it yet, but prepare. That's going to be a shock to the system, to Wall Street, to Main Street, to everybody. If one of the biggest retailers in the world, if not the biggest, says we're going to raise all the costs on every product we have. That's a lot.
Yeah. And they did have a Q1 beat, but as they said, they're waiting through the tariffs was the term that the CEO used. Yeah, I mean, that definitely is it's still weighing. I mean, we just don't know. Yeah, they don't know if the pause is a pause or is it a permanent reduction. What's going to happen from it. I think the market's reacting to it, right? We've seen a pullback here, which, is not too unexpected from that. Steve, I got to give you one. You didn't pick the company. You thought your boy Warren might be the man. Man. Yeah, I got to give you credit. I give you a hard time on some of your misses and other things there. You don't have many of them. But this one, man, you nailed it. I mean, I was like, really? Foot Locker? And boom, within about a week or two, you literally have that.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I built Quasar Markets, right? Because in other platforms, they're just giving you the news that's happened. I don't want to know about the news of the past. I want to know about the future. And how do
and I'll point out, you were doing a demo of Quasar Markets platform for the people, our viewers, and you were pointing out, so there's this data, and we were looking at the chart, and you looked at their price to earnings ratio and what their market cap was now, and you broke it down right from all the tools that we do have there.
That's right. And that's how this options move, and it was like, wait a minute, this isn't adding up here. Like, why is foot? Because when I look at stocks, I always look at best in class, right? When we look, I talked about this on Schwab the other day. Best in class in the cruise lines was Caribbean, right? The best in class in shoes and selling shoes in a brick and mortar is Foot Locker. So if you're going to have, what's the very first thing I said? You asked me back in January what I thought the theme was for the year, and it's what? Mergers and acquisitions. And we're seeing that everywhere. So keep your eyes peeled for those mergers and acquisitions. And in that merger and acquisition, I'm looking for companies that Warren Buffett are looking for, right? Cash cows that are writing checks.
They had money. You pointed out there the cash that they had on hand, all those things that matter. Yeah, absolutely. Steve, I got to give you one. On the other side, I think that is weighing on the markets because it goes to need analysis over technical analysis, right?
Trump called Tim Cook again. I guess they're becoming buddy, and saying, please don't produce your phones in India. Why is the president of the United States telling a CEO of a company where to produce or to do or to bake? That I don't know. This is
a move because 2 weeks ago was get it out of China. Nothing should be in China or Vietnam.
Get it out of China, right?
India was supposedly the one with Mondi and the close relationship with the president. So I'm back in turmoil personally about what is going on. You know, we know yesterday with Mr. Flanagan, I was talking, and one of our good viewers there, Carlo, was pointing out, you know, that it looked like we were going after BRICS a little bit. The U.S. was trying to take those BRICS partners and cozy up to them. Well, India would probably be the most important one to cozy up to, right? You're not going to cozy up to Russia or China. You know, I mean, to me, it's Brazil and India. You know, those are the
Vietnam. I mean, Vietnam is done very well for us. Obviously, the Koreas are very important to us and production. But Vietnam is where most of those are produced now. And India India has the manufacturing. They have the ability, right?
Well, exactly. That part of it is that, you know, they chose India not just because of X, Y, or Z, because they already build phones there. They build their cheap.
Yeah, they already have the distribution.
When I look at and for those that don't know, India is where they produce the lower end of the Apple phone, and Vietnam is where they produce the higher end. So they have to retrofit and they have to do a lot of things to fix the line and make it work.
India is the country
start from zero.
Right, and India has the tech side of things, right? So when President Trump asked Tim Cook, please produce these phones in the United States, great. Tim said, I will, but I can't until I have robots that can produce them out of a very small nano level. And he said, I don't have that yet. And so I don't know. The two of them should not be chummy like this. They should be opposite ends, right? Business and the White House should be completely opposite.
Like the separation of church and state. I like the separation of business and state a little bit more.
Right. Because there needs to be regulation. There needs to be things that we have in place.
To that libertarian side of things, as you know, from a crypto standpoint and everything. Tick slightly down. Advanced decline, pretty neutral. About as neutral as I've seen in a long time. Minus 430. I mean, that's.
They're waiting on numbers still. I think they're still
waiting on or they're waiting for the next tweet, I think, because he has landed now over in the Middle East, so he'll be coming.
What have I said? Stop pearl clutching your charts, because quite frankly, your charts are worthless when you have a tweet, right? The tweets are changing the world. We just had a tweet message come out. Trump's trade war risks U.S. flight, according to Elliott Management. You know, at 100%, we've said this a million times. This is exactly what's happening. So, you know, I don't want to see any more U.S. money going out, right? The money came flowing back in over the last few weeks, which is good. I think the money that was on the sidelines was coming in. We need a breather in the markets right now, right? The market has made a nice run. 3 weeks ago, I said this.
And the same thing I sent to my crypto room this morning was, hey, you know, this is, you know, you want to sort of see this. This gives you entries. You know, I want to see a pullback in crypto. You can't just jump up all in straight one line because there's no place to get in. So now let's get some pullbacks. Let's get some consolidation. Let's get some, you know, range trading, and then we can start to really, you know, jump in. DXY continuing to fall a little bit here. So we'll see. I wonder what Mr. Flanagan thinks there. I saw an article talking about, you know, that it doesn't look like the fact that it looks like money is going back into Japan as opposed to the U.S. dollar was what the article was saying. So I'm curious there. Again,
money was already flowing into Japan. I think people are confused. The money was flowing into Japan for a while. It's been doing that. A guy named Warren Buffett was buying Japanese houses, stock houses, we call brokerages here. Money was already flowing into Japan, and I think
what they're talking about is Japan's Ministry of Finance just reported that foreign investors bought 25 billion of Japanese equities and 31 billion of bonds in April, the largest combined monthly purchase in 20 years. So no, it wasn't it.
That's right. No, it wasn't him. I'm just saying that he was already ahead of the game. He was already starting it. What I'm saying is $30 billion. I mean, the stock market of the United States and that combined is roughly about 40 trillion. So,
but it's more what is Japan's like? I mean, the largest inflow in 20 years.
Very small market. Yeah.
I mean, a large
fan at JPX. I was just there actually. I was there back in February. It's it's all electronic trading. There's no floor trading at all there. It's all electronic. It's a big room. It's cool though. I like it. I gave a speech from there. But I will say that, you know, when you look at the Japanese economy, they are ripe for technology. They are very ripe. I was there, and I can tell you that their laptops were a little older. The technology was a little older. They are very ripe to go to the next level. And when we talk about it from the Chinese system here. China has said, Xi Jinping himself said, we want to be the AI capital of the world. We're going to have technology here. Japan does not like that at all, right? They want to have technology there, and we're bringing it. So I think what you're going to see is this influx of cash coming into Japan to build these major infrastructure places. Now, for me, I'm a little concerned if you're going to build nuclear power plants, which they already have, right? To produce the power they need for quantum computing, but they need for AI and for crypto and Web3, because this is a big side of things. The world's changing very fast, folks, that they need that power. They've already set it up. They're ready to go. Now, the thing that bothers me is they have earthquakes, right? They have problems. So there's a give and take here, right? But the cool thing about it is they are an awesome people. They and like I said, I was just there. I love Tokyo. I love Japan. I think they're very strong when they're coming to the work ethic. Whereas the United States, not so much. But I also think that when you look at it from the forward thinking here, the APEC, Asian Pacific Economic Council, that ring of fire we call it, it's going to be strong. It's California, it's Japan, it's the Asia Rim, the whole what we call Asia. If you haven't seen a chance, I highly suggest everybody go look at it. It's APEC, Asian Pacific Economic Council. That ring is where most technology is done. And so when you look, I think that Japan's right in the mix of this. So I agree with this.
Yep. Steve, UNH, you got to talk about it, right?
All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room, UNH. You're right, Howard. I am disappointed in UNH. This is a company, United Healthcare, that supplies healthcare for millions and millions of people, paying extraordinary amounts of premiums and insurance payments. Outrageous that the CEO has these kinds of problems at UNH. Let me make this very clear from me as a third party. I want to say a BigBeat saying this. This is shameful. This is shameful on so many levels that the CEO and the chairman now are the same. This needs to be fixed, and needs to be fixed fast. This is like Boeing, as I called Boeing out, is the same situation, that they need to straighten up their whole house. They need to clean up and get it done, and get it done fast. This is abysmal. This is not something to be. This is a company that is quote too big to fail.
Yeah, that's what and you and I talked about it before we came on, because yesterday that's what you said. And my question to you is it still too big to fail?
Yes,
and that's not a joke, but does it have a comeback? There's been some companies that have dropped down, and you said no, they're not coming back. So this is one. I marked it out on my chart here. I'm watching this 258 level personally. It's given back to 2020. It's given 5 years of profits back, basically 5 years of profits for stock investors.
The market cap is going back 5 years. Look, this is disgusting to me. Now look, I've called the same thing with Boeing, that Boeing would come back and Boeing making all-time highs again, right? This is the same situation here. The DOJ, Department of Justice, calling for an investigation into Medicare fraud. Usually, I'm going to say that this is they probably have something, but full-blown Medicare fraud, that would be a little devastating. I don't think that's the case here. I'm going to stick my neck out just a wee bit here. I think that this selling is overblown a little bit, and I'm not telling you how to buy and sell. I never do that. But I will tell you, I will be picking some of this up because I think this is silly.
That was the question I was just about to ask is, again, we don't tell people to sell and buy, but we do tell you what we are interested in or are going to buy, which is where we have our most conviction. And I told you I'm interested because you've nailed the Boeing one. And there's a lot more like that over the years that you've done, where you're like, this is a good company. Now, is this a company, and I don't know enough about healthcare, that they could break it up, it could get bought? Is there anything there that the DOJ or, is there, like in the banks, we know JP Morgan steps in and gobbles everything up and they get bigger.
As I call the trade war with the president, I'm saying the same thing here, that you need clarity. I need to know. A good example of that would be SMCI. Give me clarity. Tell me, show me the numbers. Okay, now I can make a decision. There's no clarity here, right? There's, we have this looks like a complete and utter failure of the board.
It's at a lot of level, and this is FTX. Like, if it's true, I mean, this goes down. I mean,
it's not FTX level. They're not gambling with people's money with a 10-year-old. She knows nothing about trading, right?
Fraud is fraud. Whether you did wire fraud or you lied,
really bad. It's really bad.
Fraud. It's one term for that.
We don't know. But we don't know this for a fact, right?
Yeah, I said it's true and it's fraud.
No, you're right. You're right. Yes, right.
This is as big as they come. I mean,
yes, because you're no longer playing with people's lives. This isn't just some crypto.
And where I mean that too is where it's almost worse than FTX is. For FTX, the government didn't care because it wasn't their money. If you played with the government's money, now this is like, there's certain people you don't play with their money. The mafia, Triad, and the U.S. government, they all want their share.
Well, let's go back to the very beginning of all of this and how this all started. Does anybody remember how this all started? A random dude shot the CEO of the company. Right? I mean, I think this person saw what was going on. Maybe in his own.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know any of it. I mean, listen, the bottom line is going to make a great movie.
Somebody's writing the story now, right?
Here's the Big Short, so to speak, the next financial sort of news movie. Here you go.
But I'll say it from my perspective. They need to sort their shit out, and I don't like saying cuss words here on the long thing, but they need to sort it out.
Yeah. Without a doubt on that.
Yeah, because this is people's lives. I mean, people are paying premiums.
Public and that's exactly the first.
The U.S. government has a law saying they must have insurance. So
the mother-in-law is already nervous about whether or not her United Healthcare is okay. She's already asking. I fully know, and it's the same thing I told her. I forget what the last one was.
They're probably more fine now than ever, right? I mean, because
now everything's being looked into it. Yeah, they're going to be.
Out. That's right. Yeah. That magnifying glass is right up UNH's behind right now. I promise you that.
Steve, another one with good earnings here, man. I want to stay on the good side of stuff. How about Cisco, man?
Yes, as we migrate to bigger and bigger data, Cisco is starting to look up to the future. This is what I've been saying, right? That these companies like Intel and Cisco, the old stalwarts, needed to get their act together. Again, you saw the same situation, but not like fraud, obviously. But Cisco and Intel were hurting. They weren't manufacturing. They weren't building. They weren't innovating. That's what I'm saying. Look at the R&D budgets of these companies. If they're not innovating, then there's a problem. Same situation here. I think Cisco actually the routers are much better. Now, if you remember, I've been calling this for almost a year and a half, and I've been saying on TV as well, that IBM, the big old stalwart, the big old blue, killed it. They have been. They were building quantum computing and AI. Think about it with Watson and quantum computing long before anybody else was talking about it, right? So IBM was the leader here, and now everybody else is playing catch up. And I feel like I should have mustard on my table too here, right? But the question now has to be, what is the catch up? What are they doing in order to make this happen? NVIDIA did something really cool. They made the Grace Blackwell chipsets. We know that. And look at NVIDIA stock. That fell all the way to under 100, back to 130. I don't know what it is right now. Not looking at it, but 135, I guess, something like that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you can take these old companies and make money out of them. This is where the things are, and I like this play for Cisco, and I'm glad. And they did something that hasn't been done much this year, and they upped their guidance, and they actually gave guidance. So, well done, Cisco. I'm pretty impressed by their comeback show. The comeback kid. Here we go.
Yeah, I mentioned Cisco, if you remember, because they were mentioned in NVIDIA's building those new huge data centers that they're putting together. Cisco was mentioned as sort of the switches we talked about, picks and shovels. This was a company that I was interested based upon that personally, because while they don't build the big sexy parts, the chipsets, what they do is they have the routers and the connectors that put them all together. And when you build these huge acre data farms that are coming, you're going to need a lot of these Cisco ones. Like you said, they're looking for revenue guidance. They raised that, looks really good. Everything they had to say, everything looks great. Their AI infrastructure orders are over 600 million this quarter. That's $1 billion ahead of plan. It just shows them, like you said, and like I said, they're not sexy stuff. Core networking, switches and routers, strongest growth. It isn't necessarily.
Logger's not sexy. Cisco's not sexy. Walmart's not sexy. All these companies aren't sexy until they become sexy.
They don't have to be sexy, like you said. Cash flow and balance sheet. That's what's moving this up. Those are the things.
Exactly. You're saying it again, right? Look, I love charts probably more than anybody. I love the calculus sides of things. I mean, that's my favorite thing in the world. But right now it's tweets and balance sheets. I mean, if you think about it, maybe there should be a website, tweetsandbalancesheets.com, right? That's where we're looking at right now. And if you look at it, UNH is not your chart. UNH is based on the news, right? These stocks are moving because of the news.
Based on the news, but it fell right to a support level.
Oh, it totally did. Why? Because that's where the institutional investors are.
From 2020, it was great support in 2020. Alibaba is one we wanted to mention here, Steve, a little bit, because it is taking down most of the Chinese names in general today. They're down about 5.32%. They had Q4 results that missed their revenue estimates. And again, this stock's been up 60% year to date, so it's not like it's been moving down, but it is taken. And I looked at my laggards today; they are almost all Chinese-based. GDS,
the United States not buying Chinese products. That's
KC, JD, even the ones that were high flying early in the week, Baidu. All these are Chinese names across the board that are just getting hit. Interestingly, though, one Chinese name.
It's why Xi Jinping is coming to the table. I mean, that's why they're coming, because they don't want to hurt their own companies too, which is happening now, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. One that did do well, Steve, and one that I think you're a fan of, NetEase, Chinese video game maker, the guys that own Blizzard. So they had great earnings. Their net profit rose 35%. They're actually one of the biggest gainers on the NASDAQ today, up 8.3%. Again, their net profit rose 35%. They blew away estimates. Revenue increased 7.4% year over year. And again, mostly led by their Blizzard titles, Wizard of Warcraft relaunch, Marvel Rivals, and Where the Winds Meet. Another thing that you've pointed out, right, is those that have good franchises are the things to keep an eye on, right? So It's interesting for me just because they blew it away, where the rest, they were the only Chinese name that sort of up. And, again, the big Blizzard relaunch and the Marvel Rivals. I love that game.
I will say this, interestingly enough, NetEase is becoming a different animal than we have in the past. And I think one of the cool things about it is that they've moved into 2 other new sectors, which is education, e-commerce, and music. There's 3 there, but two major ones, right? So I kind of put e-commerce and music together, and then education in another one. They've actually been in the mergers and acquisitions deals right lately. So I like NetEase. I don't think it's all about their the Blizzard world. Listen, I've been playing StarCraft and those games since I was a child, right? So I understand them. I understand NetEase, but I think what you're looking at is that they are a company that has a little bit of everything, that I think that they'll do very well when they move into the AI VR space, which they're doing now. I think that they're going to do very well, but I think they're going to have to do it with some R&D, right? Can they put World of Warcraft into AR? If they do that, oh my goodness gracious. If they put the World of Wizarding, I think they have a Harry Potter game too. If they can do that. All of these things, these little bits and pieces that they have, could really do it. They've also got this education piece that they can put into the schools that also has handhelds and things like that. So I like NetEase. I like what they're doing, but there's still a tariff war there. There's still some a little bit of unsure for me. let's see how it goes. I do like, and I like you posted here, Blizzard relaunching Marvel Rivals. Is that a long-lasting game? I don't know. I'll tell you what I have been playing, and anybody wants to play with me, I'm happy to do that out there. It's Call of Duty. I've been playing Call of Duty quite heavily lately, and I've been killing a lot of zombies. A lot of dead zombies right now, double dead. BigBeat.
There you go.
Palace Gypsy, right? But I will say that gaming right now is going to get very hot as people start to move to less experiences and want to be at home. So the microtransactions, I think, Howard, you're probably best at talking about the microtransaction side of it from blockchain and crypto. I think that is the key to gaming right now. People aren't. What I just saw with Switch 2 with Nintendo NTDOI is that they are raising the price of their games $90 for a game on Switch 2. Wow.
Because my wife has a friend who works for Nintendo over in Japan, and he advised us to buy the Switch 1 for the little one because of the cost of these new games and that everything. He said it's outrageous what they're about to do. So I wonder if you price people out. I mean, that's at some point you do. I mean, so that's going to be an interesting one. But yeah, microtransactions. When I was asked, the other day on a webinar about, sectors in blockchain and crypto that are sort of still untapped or that have huge potential. Gaming is one of the biggest ones because, again, as a big user of Electronic Arts and Madden, it would be so much easier for them if they had a closed ecosystem where I bought my Madden points with their Madden token and my Madden or an EA token, and I can use my EA token for Madden, and if I've got some left over, I can use it for FIFA, and if I've got some left over, I can use it to beat your butt in Apex. Those are, that's what the future should and will hold. And Amica is really one of the companies that's doing that the best so far. But there is a bunch of gaming companies out there. Nile.com is a new one that's just sort of come out on the Bearer chain that I'm very interested in.
You mentioned Madden, and
I want to see that movie. If you're talking about the movie, I'm excited.
I'm going to blow your mind. Nicolas Cage, my wife had to tell me this yesterday. I couldn't believe it. Nicolas Cage is set to be John Madden. And
seeing the picture, it looks amazing, man. He looks just like him.
He looks like John Madden.
I forget who's playing Al Davis, but man, it's spot on.
And it's Christian Bale as Al Davis, right?
So yeah, and he looks just like it. I mean, it was. Yeah, I'm excited to see
this movie. Actually, I mean, you and I grew up with John Madden. We grew up in Madden games. We grew up with.
Loved it. Yeah.
And everything else, right?
I still have my floppy disk with the second Madden game that ever came out.
You probably don't even
I have it. I'd have to find a computer that still allows a floppy disk.
I would tell you put that on eBay right now. Exactly. You'd make a ton of money off that. Look, I agree with that, right? People love gaming so much, they're making movies out of it. I mean, think about the Star Wars series, how many games there are and movies out of that. Think about Harry Potter's game was the biggest game ever for their company, right? So I like this. I like this back and forth, whether it's real life gaming or real life movies. And
we are open here, Steve. Market is open.
I don't see much in the market today. We kind of over talked a little bit, but
it's looking weak here so far. It's actually sliding back down in general, even before the cash open. So we'll keep an eye here, see if we get it. Again, market needs to breathe. I don't want to see a huge pullback, but a little bit of a retracement here would be healthy. So we'll see. VIX has raised up a little bit, 1877 there. I saw you put on there about India Trade Ministry. So, those things. That combined with what came, with that conversation with Tim Cook tells me everything I need to know about those negotiations. They are maybe not going as smoothly as.
No, they're not going smoothly. Tim Cook doesn't care what the president says. Remember, Apple is a $3 trillion
in the U.S. Foot Lock up 83% here. Oof.
Yeah, I think it's probably halted here too as well. So there's a buyout going on. So it's no meat on the.
Looks like it's moving.
Yeah, there's no meat on the bones. I don't think they've already told you the price of the buying.
Yeah, you know what it's going to get bought for. We saw that with what was it, Nordstrom's, I want to say, or Macy's, right?
Yeah.
We saw people buying it for more than what the buyout was, and it just doesn't make sense. They know what the share
that one.
worth. I don't think people understand it, that it's been decided. They think that if they buy it, it will move it up and then they'll pay more. That's not how it works.
I hate to harp on it, but Nvidia's holding pretty steady here, 134.25 here, only down $1 today. Yep. And you would think that the market would be down, and the Nasdaq's down 85 points here. So
Tesla, one of the ones getting a hit here today, down about 2.23%. Steve, another one that sort of caught me by surprise that was up tremendously today, Boot Barn on their earnings. So again, you talked about Foot Locker. On the other side of your feet are Boot Barns. Big buyback that they announced. They slightly missed their revenue and EPS, but they did earn $1.2 a share, and they announced a $200 million share purchase to bolster their value. That's got them moving. I didn't realize they were a $4 billion company either.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't been to a Boot Barn ever my entire life.
Yeah, so I don't even know where they are. I mean, I'm assuming down
I tell you what, I like Burlington. I like Burlington Coat Factory. There's one big one. Hey, the one in New York on Fifth Ave, I like a lot. I go there once in a while to go check out their coat system. But I mean, my coats are, I have nicer coats. But I mean, I definitely I go in there every once in a while.
It's declined down about 254. So about as neutral as we've seen. Qs have bounced back up. They were down below 516, back up above 517 here. So we are seeing the buying come in here.
Yeah, I don't think the shorts are scared. They don't want to, all these deals, these tweets coming through. I wouldn't be short the market right now. I just wouldn't. Is the market set to go higher? No. Look, the path of least resistance 3 weeks ago was to the upside. The path of least resistance right now is neither. This is where I'm telling you to put your charts back on and start using. Now, if you want to trade again, this is it, right? This is where you be careful out there, because tweets still are the ones that really making the decisions. But right now, no, I don't see anything. They're talking about UNH right now, down 15% right now. UNH still getting smacked right now. I'm not a happy camper with this company at all.
Berkshire moving up a little bit here, Steve. This is one that's been quiet. We haven't heard anything. I keep looking for some SEC reports. I keep searching every day on Edgar and Fred through Quasar Markets and wait to see what Warren's buying. Nothing mentioned yet. Are you interested here towards this 500 area if it drops back down?
The biggest mistake I ever made in my life was not buying Berkshire Hathaway when it was under $90,000 a share, and just buying a whole bunch of shares and just forgetting about it. Look at BRK.A today. That I should have done it then. I knew better. I should have put everybody I knew into it as fast as possible. At $90,000 today, the one share is now 757.
800 over 800 before the announcement of his retirement.
Right. Is this now time to buy? Look, folks. While Warren is the head of the company, he has not been really running the company for a while now, right? Alex has been running it. Greg Abel has. Those two guys are brains, and they're older. They got the next Warren Buffett feel. Yeah. So, we're hearing now that the Coinbase hit. Coinbase now down 4%, as we know, was hit with that cyber attack. It wasn't much of a cyber attack, from what I understand. It was
customer information. They bribed an official, a Coinbase employee overseas.
Right.
They're refusing to pay the $20 million ransom, which is not surprising. Brian Armstrong is rather hard-headed, which is one of the reasons he's done so well in business. I mean, didn't seem much to me. I know it's Coinbase, so that scares people. But, it's the same as any other major company getting hacked. This wasn't a hack of their crypto. None of their wallets were at effect. What was at effect was some database.
People's names got out there, and the scammers are,
they're calling everybody.
Right, they're calling everybody. Yeah,
that's why you got that phone call. That's why you got that phone call.
Scammers are the most disgusting people on the planet. Go get a freaking job. Go work and go make your.
I got about 10 messages yesterday. Scott Bauer, they would send him the same thing they sent you. And, you know, we do want to warn people. They make it look really. Here's the bottom line that I'm going to tell you when it comes to cybersecurity, and understand that that's what I went to school for and that's my background. Is if you did not do something and they send you the message that says, "Hey, I saw this transaction came through. Was it you?" If it wasn't you, don't answer. Ignore it. Any kind of interaction can only put you at more risk. You know, do not interact with it. Do not respond to it. Do not call the phone number. You know, what you do is you go calmly to your computer. Don't use the same phone you just got the message on, and type in, how do I reach Coinbase? How do I reach, you know, CrowdStrike? How do I reach whomever it is, JP Morgan, or you should have that on your credit card and other places. And you call them directly off their known numbers, not off a number when it says, hey, call us at 937-444-1111, because that is not Coinbase's number. So that is one of the biggest things that I could teach you guys today is you just don't interact. If you didn't do it, you know, don't panic. That what they do is they get that fear, because when you see that, what do you think? Oh man, someone's trying to steal my crypto. Yeah, the people that just sent you the message, unfortunately, is the truth behind it 90% of the time. And it's the same thing on anything. No one, you know, you get a note that says, hey, if you don't update your Coinbase wallet, you're going to lose all your funds. No,
Dick's Sporting Goods now saying that we expect Nike business will grow at Foot Locker, Nike NKE here.
Wow, that's good for the Nike.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like I will say that for me, I have Nikes. I have the new DNA8s. I like those shoes a lot. I don't buy Nike shoes. Most people don't know this. I buy Adidas or Adidas here in the United States. Adidas in German. I like other sneakers. I like the New Balance as well. They're really comfortable shoes. But these DNA8s, I've been doing my homework on it, and I was really impressed with Nike. And you know, I've talked about Nike stock. The price this one should go up. This one is a good company that's has been beaten up a little bit over the last few months. And we talked about that. Talked about Schwab not too long ago about it. I like this play here. If you go now to try to buy Nike shoes, they pretty much make you go to their own site now. They make you go to their own app on their own phone, and they have their own sales too. I like that too as well. They have their own marketing plan there as well. So I like Nike as well, and I like this Dick's Sporting Good thing too as well. I was in the mall near me not too long ago, and I went into Dick's. I was in Academy Sports ASO. Yeah. They've got a bigger selection of shoes than I was shocked how many shoes that they have at Academy Sports. Way bigger than Foot Locker. I was blown away. But the Foot Locker in downtown New York and Manhattan is really, really nice. I like that store a lot, actually.
Yeah, I mean, my question is there too much duplication that we're going to find? You know, how many stores will end up getting closed? And things like that.
Probably quite a few. Probably the ones that were mismanaged.
That's also good savings. I mean, what it does is it will give them a bigger footprint. So that's the only thing. You know, Foot Lockers are small stores. Dick's are huge stores. So, but that's why.
But I think that Dick's can make their move by saying instead of Foot Locker powered by Dick's Sporting Goods, right? That they now have the line, the back end, the computers.
Well, the system going to like the inner city too. Is you know you weren't going to put a Dick's in the middle of downtown DC. There's not enough room in the rent.
There's not. They'll just take over a Foot Locker's place. Yeah,
absolutely. So that's that's what I like about it is giving them a full a smaller footprint that they can still do and adjust it maybe seasonally to have some sporting goods in it or whatever they tend to do. Nike is moving up nicely on the news, as you're saying, 61.50 here. Tick still slightly negative, advanced decline down about 420. We do see VIX still climbing 1885. I don't want to see us broach that 20. So again, as long as we stay above that 20, we're okay. Anything above that starts to get me nervous.
I think today is not about volatility. I think today is a breather day, right? Look, my Cardinals lost one of the two games yesterday. They had a 9-game run. They need a breather, right? And they only lost one game because they had an error. Look, it's okay. Then they won the second game 14-7. You know, it's okay when you're on a win streak to take a breather day, right? It's okay. We need a little bit of a pullback in order to go forward, but I don't think we're going to stop. I think oh my goodness. Powell says it's appropriate to reconsider average inflation targeting.
Yeah, as I said, I don't like him speaking this early in the morning. You know, we can count on him to
I agree that the policy's been bad, but that he said goalpost and now he's moved the goalpost again. No wonder things are. Oh, okay. What does that even mean, Jay?
What I was going to ask you is, what does that actually mean? I mean,
I don't know, because he said that he has said it at every single meeting. We have a dual mandate and it's 2%. One of the dual mandates is inflation, and the other one is jobs. So if you're 2%, oh my goodness gracious, no, the Fed needs awakening. Maybe the Fed's the next UNH. I don't know. maybe the president's right. Maybe he does need to be replaced. Wow. Maybe he needs to reconsider what he's saying here. I don't know. Maybe he's not paying attention. I don't know. He's very carefully worded, very purple tide, careful worded. I don't know. This is very interesting to me. Wow.
Yeah, that one. Yes. Yeah, I don't know, man. At UNH just continuing to slide here, trying to find a bottom right around that.
I don't. Institutions are unhappy right now. This is retail piling on at some point, and that's okay. Let it play itself out. I will be picking some UNH up at some point. This let it play out. Let it do its thing, because it will come back. It will. It's too big to fail. All right, and wow. But Medicare fraud. Let's see. I get it. Where there's, I don't want to say the words too much, but let's put it this way: where there's smoke, there's fire. I get all of that, right? I want to see what's really happening here behind the scenes. I think, unfortunately, the CEO getting shot and killed was very unfortunate, but I think there might be something bigger underlying here. And I'm not a conspiracy theory. I don't wear a cap. I do. By the way, I haven't worn it in a while, Howard. Maybe I should go get it. I do have my my
cap.
No, I've got a better hat. You give me 2 seconds, I'll go get it.
Okay. Well, while Steve's doing that here, we see the tick has gone positive a little bit here. Advanced decline sticking down around that 400 level. Q's back down into that 516 here. Tried to break 517, so that's sort of the first spot that I'm keeping an eye on. But so far unable to hold above that 517. Trying to make a move back to the upside. SPY right at 586.18 here. A little bit better, bouncing up off of the VWAP here on the short-term chart, moving to the upside a little bit. So SPY seems to have a little bit more steam so far this morning than the Qs. Dow Jones down about 30 basis points here. Is trying to close yesterday's gap. So, you know.
All right, I'm bringing the BigBeat Swami hat in.
I think a lot of you get that. Your wife. I got to talk to your wife.
I've had the Swami hat for many years, and I've got a crystal ball here in the office. For those of you who don't know, I have crystal balls and stuff I don't believe in, but the Swami hat comes out when I have to make these big predictions. I'm going to predict that UNH that they'll come back. This is my big prediction that we will see this. Where I don't know, but it's too big to fail. So the Swami, BigBeat Swami prediction. I don't know. Maybe we need to have a name for this. I don't know, but I predict it to come back. So those of you who want to take a picture or screenshot and put the internet, go ahead.
1 second. Let me get you in the full screen. Yeah, there he is.
The hat in there and pull it back a little bit for everybody to get the full screen.
You that in Key West out around town.
Yeah. There we go. I don't even know how it fits. Doesn't even work right. But look, look, I get it. UNH is a tough disaster here, and it's going to be tough to take for a lot of people. So, it is what it is, and I'm disappointed in UNH a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other way around it. I mean, we'll see what happens there. Russia's delegation said it's ready to discuss compromise at talks with Ukraine, so that's good to hear.
It is interesting. I mean, the talks were in Turkey, and both Trump and Putin are not going. I don't know that I like that too much. We need to see more of that. I know that the delegations were going, but for me, I want to see it talks at the top level. I think they're trying to set precedents here and then figure out what both sides want, and then they'll make that decision. But yeah, I see CoreWeave CEO on CNBC right now. He's talking about AI demand. It's very high.
We know that. Another one moving up nicely here is DLO, D Local. I did have some news on them here this morning.
NVIDIA hitting 133 now. I'm also looking at NGG as well, National Grid. For those of you who don't know, I'm also a big fan of National Grid. I like what they're doing. It's up 3% today.
Here we go. So D Local, they had total payment volume of about 8.1 billion, up 53% year over year, 5% quarter over quarter, plus 72% year over year in constant currency. Revenue was up 36% over year. Free cash flow of 39.7 million, up 200% year over year. So it looks like they're going to start to do that. They're seeing strong performance in Latin America, Argentina, and Chile, and other regional markets showed growth. There's some slight challenges in Brazil due to the business model shift, in Mexico because of the seasonal commerce volume lost. Net profit doubled in 22% from 10 year over year, and sustained investment in tech partnerships and geographical expansion. So again, nice move up here after their earnings on the Uruguayan company DLO, a technology and first payment flow program similar to like PayPal. So, we've watched New was the one, right, Steve, that made the big moves out of Brazil. Warren Buffett, a big investor in that did that. So this might be one to keep an eye on. DLO up tremendously here today. Tick is still down about 200 here. Advanced decline down about 630, so a little bit of a slide, but the Qs now broke below that 516 level, excuse me. So moving back down to the downside. Looks like VIX is headed back above 19 here. NVIDIA now down about almost 2% on the day. Amazon 2.5%. Tesla 3%, and continuing to slide. So we're seeing a little bit of selling kick in right here. Tick's going a little bit more negative. Advanced decline.
Yeah, I think it's profit taking today. I'm not too concerned about today.
Again, most of the Chinese names getting hit pretty hard today after Alibaba had an earnings miss.
I think a lot of this has to do with what Powell had to say. I mean, this is silly. Appropriate to reconsider average inflation targeting? I mean,
he had just said like 2 hours earlier that 2% was the target. Literally 2 hours earlier.
Yeah, he just said
what happened in those 2 hours? I mean, he seems as unstable as everybody else out there right now. Pick one and stick with it. Says Rubio, U.S. Secretary of State Rubio met with French, German, Italian, and UK foreign ministers in Turkey.
Yeah. Hey, we're almost there. We almost another hitting good numbers again. Let's get that retweet out there. Smash that like button. Say hello to us out here. I don't wear the Swami hat every once in a while. I think it's been a first in a while.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one in a while.
I get it. People sign in when the world is on fire or doing really well. But the key to us is day in and day out in doing this, right? Is this creating a safe place for those that want to learn about the markets and understand what's really going on, and not the, oh my God, you can't believe did you buy this stock today? That's great for marketing. I'm not into that. I'm into telling people what's really going on, like Foot Locker, like UNH, like these companies. We want to make sure that people get this better because right now, Quasar Markets data right now is really good. We get our data straight from the sources. We don't derive them. We don't pull the Wikipedias up on our cases. Take a swing. Go look at it. We're about to have a pretty good deal out there for you. Give you a yearly subscription. Give you a couple months off. We'll see that pretty soon. There's some cool things going on here. We're really building out a big ecosystem. So hit that smash that like button and follow us, and make sure you're retweeting out the live stream to get more people watching us. But if you can, go to quasarmarkets.com itself and sign up for a free account. You get 7 days, and gosh, my goodness, it's $15 a month. I mean, that's cheaper than Netflix right now, and this one makes you money, not just takes your money and makes a new movie, right? So
absolutely. Steve, I did see some good news here, although I don't know if it's good news. India Trade Secretary Bothwell, we are working with the United States in the direction of a joint statement on trade. I mean, a statement on trade doesn't, is that what the statement could be a bad statement. So that one I'll be a little bit more wary on. Want to see what that actually comes out from that.
Yeah, I mean, we're literally sitting on. And I will say that if you have your charts open, linear regression right now is where it's at right now, and especially on the 1 minute charts on the dailies. The 1 minute, I will say look at the 3 minute charts right now, because the 3 minute chart seems to be a little bit stronger. But linear regression right now is just being put on everybody's charts right now. 2 years ago, when I was teaching linear regression, nobody really kind of knew what it was. Today, everybody. I would also tell you, because of the way that that zero DTEs are affecting it, I would also say that Elder's Force is also another technical indicator that you should be watching. Because quite frankly, that one explains volatility to people if you don't understand the force. And then RSI, which is stochastics, and I can do the calculus behind it. And I don't like it when people say, well, the reason that I bought the stock is because the red line crossed over the green line. And well, why did it cross over the green line? Why? Because of the back end of what's going on in the amounts of buying, right? It's the buying pressure or flow, as we call it. So right now, I think that RSI, and I also think MACD right now is pretty strong too as well. But Elder's Force, due to the see that pop right back on NVIDIA and buyers. I think they're flushing the people out. They're buying liquidity. And if you're looking at linear regression, you're seeing where the numbers are, and you're seeing where the machines are located too. So I think that's what charts are showing you right now. I don't think charts are showing you personal levels where people are buying and selling. I think you're showing you right now where algos are buying and selling, or institutions.
Yeah. So we are getting some tweets here out of the White House.
Shocker there.
1.2 trillion. That'd be huge if it's true.
Proof's in the pudding for me. I mean, you can keep talking about it, but to me, I really want to see actual numbers, right? I want to see what are they doing? What are they investing in? Are they actually investing? Is the money actually coming? So, yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Tick still staying slightly positive here, but advanced declines fell down about 700 here. Q is that 516 level, trying to get to 517. So we're seeing some choppiness, not really a lot a direction yet. We're just seeing choppiness between that 515.25 area and 517.25 or so. So about a $2 move on the Qs right now. And on the SPY, we've really been trading in even a tighter range here. Between 585.50 and 586.50, so about a dollar range there. So not much really movement so far. Dixie back at 177. So we've seen a little bit move up here since the cash market opened. Bitcoin trading down at 102.054. Looking for that half back retracement here, sort of towards that $100,000 level. Personally, if it hits the bottom of this linear regression on the hourly, might be looking for a long here. We'll see. Was more pointed towards a short yesterday. Today, it does look like we've taken that bounce back on a lot of the cryptos. Could be some interesting ones here to take a look at. Going up another percentage point here, Steve, 206.75. As you mentioned, hit a 52-week high at 209.60 just 2 days ago. What a move up from those lows at 129. BlackRock up about 1.02% here this morning. They've broken out of the top of the linear regression on the daily chart. I'd like to say Coinbase is a buying opportunity, but it needs to pull back more. That jump up on the S&P news took it too far away. Another one that had strong earnings, Steve, was John Deere, up 4.8% here this morning.
I mean, Coinbase is down what? What is Coinbase down right now? 8% right now?
5%.
Almost. What is it?
5.7. 5.7.
Okay. Let's take this.
It jumped almost 20% in the last couple of days on the inclusion in the S&P.
Right.
So
let's talk about that. So So yeah, we're down what 5.51%. Okay, the market cap of Coinbase is $63 billion. So it's a $20 million deal here on Coinbase getting hit. That's what the ransom is. And is it really in this case, I think it's about $6 or $7 billion taken off their market cap because of this. I don't think so. I think this is
No, I'm with you. I'm just sort of hoping people just capitulate a little bit here. Give me a better entry. That's all I'm looking for on it. Because again, Coinbase has nothing but good news going on. The other ones, Bitcoin mining companies that have been sort of had blow off tops, you can look at here too as they retrace down a little bit. MicroStrategy held up of that 400 level really nicely. It was looking like it wanted to try to break below that earlier. Holding up still at that 408 area right now. Oracle down about 1.5%. Chips is what down the most. ARM down about 3.27 here. Micron down about 2.54%. So we're seeing a lot of the hits across the technology sector here. With that being said, sectors of the S&P, you got 3, 4 to the downside, so that means 7 to the upside. You got energy down about 1 percentage point. Technology, like I said, down 0.5 percentage point. Consumer discretionary down about a full point. And healthcare, of course, on the backs of UNH down 72 basis points. UNH now down 18%, Steve. 254 here.
It's disgusting at this point, yeah. But I think they're getting beat up too much, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it went below that area that I talked about, so I will be looking. You know, I'll wait. I'll let it settle down a little bit, but this is definitely an area for me.
I think the zero DP. I think the options are just absolutely waylaying it right now. I don't think institutions are looking to pick some up here. I think
you would think, yeah. Unless they were too heavy. I mean, yeah. I mean, we know healthcare. I mean, maybe that's the part of the problem, right? Healthcare had already been sort of beaten up as a sector earlier. Did institutions get on the wrong side?
Remember the whole world of UNH has been
you know,
exactly. I mean, UNH has already been beaten up quite heavily before all of this, right?
Yeah, I mean, it took this big drop down here on their earnings. I mean, they went from trading at 587. And they ended that day at 454. So to be down at 250 now, wow. And I'll point out, I mean, Tesla, the same thing, right? We saw the recovery there, and you talked about that when it jumped down, in that 220 range, right? Now back at 337. Netflix up about 0.5 percentage point, Steve. You talked about that earlier, trying to battle to a new high here. Trying to get to an all-time high. 1164 is the all-time high.
Yeah, Coinbase popping a little bit here. I had a feeling Coinbase was hit a little too hard, I think.
Sold, yeah. I mean, back at 251.
Yeah, I thought that was a little much there. If you picked up Coinbase here, I could totally see that. I mean, hacks are normal things, and Brian Armstrong is very strong, and he's very strong on security. So I wouldn't, yeah.
Yeah, they have a very strong cybersecurity team there. Very, very strong. Like I said, this was an isolated incident. They've already very quickly figured out what happened and where who it was. And I'm sure he'll have him rotting in a jail somewhere very quickly. I'll tell you one that I am interested here on this pullback too, Steve, might be Alibaba. I mean, I know all of the tariff issues there, but you've talked about it. Alibaba is not just a trinkets company like Amazon. They have huge cloud providers and tech in, all of Asia, but especially China. You interested here if it pulls back a little bit?
It is an interesting. I don't look. I liked Alibaba at $80. I don't like Alibaba at 124. Okay. It doesn't make any sense on the balance sheets here. As you know, I was buying quite heavily in Alibaba around the beginning. Now I think if Jack Ma was running the show, I would definitely say it's a different situation here, but he's not running the show anymore. So I don't know. 135. Look at that pop back up there. They ran those liquidity lines like a
moving up nicely now. So we do see buyers are definitely stepping in. Qs, SPY look like they're going to push towards level for the day.
Business inventory came in light here, 0.1%. We expected 0.2%, so they did come in light. All right, Howard, it's 10 o'clock.
Okay.
All right, take us home.
Looks like you're going to slide up. I do think it looks like the market wants to slide up here. It's handled a lot of bad news pretty well so far this morning. So markets still want to move to the upside. Looks like it is, could be a melt up day here, just a slow melt up. I do think we don't finish much off of where we are, though. Everybody, for Quasar Markets, have a fantastic day.